In today's volatile economy, it's never been more important for students to be prepared to succeed in the real world. And experts agree that for this to happen, students must be proficient in science, technology, engineering, and math.
STEM education is an area of great importance worldwide. In the United States, we scored 21st on our last international comparison, and this is much worse than we did in 2009 when we were about 13th. Right now, we have twice as many STEM jobs as qualified people to fill them, and we know that this is going to get worse. So this really affects our global competitiveness, and it's important that we get teachers the tools that they need in order for students to do well in science.
Looking back, it's hardly a coincidence that for many years, American students were among the top performers when it came to math and science. While the importance of these fundamental fields of study has not wavered, U.S. proficiency in these areas has. And because of the declining interest and performance from students in these areas, experts once again are reevaluating the way it's being taught throughout the nation.
The next generation science standards are really about what is authentic science. What are the practices of science? For example, forming questions, collecting data to answer these questions, interpreting data, warranting your claims with data, and then arguing from evidence to provide an explanation. This is authentic science, and students need these skills in order to be competitive in tomorrow's jobs.
As technology rapidly advances, so does the challenge to keep pace in the classroom. Many policymakers believe that big data analytics could be the key to supporting science teachers' instruction and assessment, and in turn, improving students' STEM learning. Inq-ITS is the first system to provide automated real-time assessment of inquiry and personalized help to students by patented algorithms. Inq-ITS truly embodies the three-dimensional nature of the NGSS. Students discover the science content while engaging in inquiry. Kids can learn from their mistakes and modify their explanations as they go. Inq-ITS has also taken reporting a step further with real-time alerts. This helps teachers quickly identify who needs one-on-one support. With funding from the National Science Foundation and the U.S. Department of Education, Inq-ITS and Inq-Blotter were developed for real-time assessment and instruction of science content, inquiry practices, and cross-cutting concepts as described by the next generation science standards.
I'll have probably 30 or 35 students in my class at one time. I'm one person. So for me to see what each student needs at any given time, it's nearly impossible. With the advances we have in technology, I have those benefits now. Time is incredibly valuable in the science classroom, and having real-time assessment data helps me. But in addition, it helps the kids because it allows them to see what they know and what they don't know in areas that they need assistance in, and they know it now instead of waiting 3 days for me to grade their lab reports and fix it.
Science classrooms today have to take on a lot of different roles for engaging and increasing the learning of students. Finding how and when to interact with students is the key. So far, I've always had to troubleshoot that, kind of looking at their faces. Are they squinting? Some students will raise their hands, but others won't. And so the real-time interface changes that. It allows me to really see what students are struggling with, which students are struggling, what part. I can think ahead of time. It gives me a couple seconds to figure out what questions I'm going to approach them with. So I can approach them and ask them just about content, I can ask general questions, or based on the feedback, I can ask really specific questions.
What teachers need is actionable data, and what is required in order to do that is to concretize the inquiry practices down to sort of sub-skill level. Our system has broken down the skills into these very precise sub-skills that provide automatic feedback to the student, automatic reports to the teacher, and automatic alerts to the teacher so that they're actionable. In addition to that, Blotter can be used to identify when students' writing doesn't match what they've done experimentally. This is really critical to develop the full complement of inquiry practices.
Inq-ITS is a science learning platform for students with simulations for physical, life, and earth science aligned with NGSS standards. Students show what they know, and educators get real-time, actionable data they can use to tailor their class instruction for individual support.
Inq-ITS stands for Inquiry Intelligent Tutoring System. It's a system for students to do hands-on virtual inquiry. Inq-Blotter is an accompaniment for teachers that alerts them in real time. So as students show what they know, by forming hypotheses and questions, designing experiments to address them, collecting their data, analyzing their data, warranting their claims, and then arguing from their evidence. The system's tracking all that they do, reporting out to the teacher in real time, providing alerts that impact their instruction, as well as real-time help to students. And Inq-ITS has a digital agent named Rex. Rex can help a student who doesn't know how to form a hypothesis, or who doesn't know how to design a controlled experiment, interpret data, who doesn't know how to form a claim and evidence and reasoning with their data. Rex can jump in, help the student in these fine-grained ways on these sub-skills underlying the inquiry practices. Teachers have been very excited with using Inq-ITS in their classroom because it virtually eliminates their grading. So this has really changed the instructional practices because they can now focus on the things that they love to do, which is teach, and not worry so much about grading. So once Inq-ITS has been used with Rex, students are able to go to a hands-on experiment and be much more systematic in how they're conducting inquiry. Teachers have also told us that it really has been very helpful for students on individualized education plans, also for their English language learners. It virtually eliminates their grading. We designed Inq-ITS and InkBlotter to put real-time support in the hands of teachers and students in order for us to realize the next generation science standards.
Inq-ITS, real-time science assessment and tutoring. For more information, please visit inqits.com.